Hi, and welcome to my blog. Dr.Dementia, State 469, Cat Alliance. Today, we're going to go over some really important stuff. Many of you may know parts of this. Some of you may know all of this. And then there are a lot of people I get questions from that don't know any of this. So I think it's important that you understand. Reservoir League, state versus state. And, well, Reservoir League, Reservoir Raid, and state versus state. These things are getting too complex for you to just wing it. These are not things that you can do individually like player versus player. Now it comes down to deciding what works and what doesn't, and how you apply your strategy. And you can't know that without the proper homework and intelligence. In this particular instance, it comes to a point where we're faced with a challenge. We have state versus state starting at 6 a.m. my time tomorrow. 12 hours if it goes that far, but slated for 12 hours. That means it ends at 6 p.m. At 6 a.m. the next morning, we have to do Reservoir League. I'll be honest with you, we've won many state versus state. This is the first time, and we've won many Reservoir Raid. But this is our first time into the playoffs of Reservoir League. And we're in single elimination. So we have to balance what happens here. Do we do state versus state? Do we do Reservoir League? Do we do them both? And how hard do we work at which one? Because we could take losses so heavily in state versus state that we can't compete 12 hours later in Reservoir League. Or we could skip state versus state. So we just don't know. So what do? We have to do our homework. And that's what you got to do. You got to do your homework. And you know something? It's simple. It's not hard. You can do it. It's a piece of cake. But you got to do it, because the states are getting bigger, and the alliances are getting bigger, and the people are getting more powerful. And the troop mixes and plasma levels and T11s, you got to know what you're up against. So let's go through it, and I'll show you what we evaluate. I've already done the preliminaries so that we could get through this rather quickly. You'll have to go in, you'll have to go to your settings, character management, and you're going to need to create a new character or an alt, and you're going to go to that state. Now, I've already done that, all right? And so let's go, let's see where, oh yeah. Okay. So we're going to go to the state that we've already created our alt in. And the reason that we're creating that alt is not to compete or be anything. This alt is worthless. Okay? It's here to gain intelligence, and that's it. So what do you got to do? Well, you got to get your alt up to a level 8. Your headquarters has to be a level 8 for you to get to the leaderboards. Down here, bottom toolbar, leaderboards. And this is where you start to gather all your information. So we know that we're going to go after TIT. Well, in Reservoir League, where's TIT for battle power? They're 4th. So that's the highest. Their highest battle power member is 356 million. And underneath that, 327. And then 325. Now, the reason you keep scrolling down isn't because it's so impressive. But you're looking for a magic number. To me, I consider it a magic number. All right? We're Ghost, 234, 231, all right? And 214. I have never seen a settlement with 230 million or below in battle power that has T11s. I'm going to assume, for the worst possible outcome, that anything over 230 million has at least some T11, probably just one, but we're going to see. So 230, let's go back up, and there we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they've got 6 guys that have got some T11. Out of those 6 guys, I would venture to say no more than 2 of them are going to be full T11s, not at 327 and 325. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. There's 4 of them. I missed one. 356. So there's 3 of them that could possibly have all T11. But gee, that's an awful low battle power for T11. So let's look at something else. Now you can look at solo kills and alliance kills, but those aren't really of any big deal. Headquarters. All right. So how many P5s, because we're going to be fielding P5s that aren't T11 as well, all right, do they have? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the idea. I've already counted them. I already know from my own notes. All right. So you need to know how many P5s, because you know out of that total number of P5s, you need to compare that to how many P5s you have. Maybe you want to take it even a step lower down to P4s. Maybe you're at a new alliance and you're looking at headquarters 30s and 29s. It applies all the way across the board. You're comparing their headquarters and their battle power to yours and the team that you're fielding. And you can even more define that by writing down their names so that you know who to hit where. And that'll be a little bit even more. So let's now figure out, how strong are these guys? Well, gee, I'm surprised. Actually, I'm not. I already knew it. But I was surprised when I first looked at it. They don't have any level 60 chiefs. In fact, their highest chief is a 57. Now, why does that matter? Well, it matters a lot. All right? It matters a lot because between 57 and 60, there's about, I don't know, something like 40, maybe 50 talent points that he can't have. He's missing, in order to fill his talent tree, a good number of points. Okay? And the next guy's a 56. He's moving more. And then 55. Now he's got a couple of 55s here. All right? Again, you're comparing that to what you've got. All right? So now let's look at his heroes. All right? So here he is, Tit. He's got Brooke. He's at 7, 6, 2, 2, 9, 7, 8. Now, I know, you may not know because I don't know if you have Brooke. I don't know if she's a general. But here's the deal. You know that there's a slight penalty for a level 80 in the precinct versus a real level 80. So you know how that works. You know, keep that in mind. You've got your 3 heroes. They're all level 80s. All right. And everybody that you put in the precinct is a level 80. And we tend to always put our new heroes in the precinct until we can build them up to real level 80s. Well, I happen to know that both Tyler and Brooke are 7.622.978 because that's what I have. Mine are full level 80s. So they're hanging out in there. So he's got one full level 80, this Captain America guy. So he's also Captain America, he's full there. Captain America's their highest chief, okay? And solo power, Captain America's their biggest power. That's my target. I'm going after him. All right, so we know the chiefs, we know the hero. Now, one of the things that sometimes we don't tend to pay attention to is all the heroes. Because keep in mind, we tend, when we were new, we tend not to build these Gen 1, Gen 2s because we're escalating quickly into paid heroes and Gen 3s. We don't boost them up. Take a look at these powers and you're going to see and compare them to yours. That's going to let you know if you run multiple rallies and you watch them running multiple rallies, what you can hit them with. Because, you know, you can only run one attack with one set of heroes. The next attack is going to go down a level, and the next, and the next. And we'll talk about some of those other things at another time. But you need to do this. You need to know their heroes, their chiefs, their headquarters. And it doesn't apply just to you. Because now that once you put that information together, okay, once all of that's in one place, you can then apply that across the board with your team. You can tell your team, hey, you know what, Susan, you need to attack this guy because your stats are going to be better and he's a lower player and you don't have to waste troops on another guy. You need to say, oh, Jeff, we need to double rally this guy, or we need to back hit him. All right? That's how you start to devise your strategy. You know, your strategy for what you take, when you take it, and how you take it are very different from alliance to alliance as far as Reservoir League goes. Now, how does this apply to state versus state? Well, in state versus state, you know, you can use this same scenario. I told you earlier that we have state versus state and Reservoir League all within 24 hours. So let's go take a look at my spy, my alt, over in 464. Okay? Here, it's state versus state. And again, you know, it's just here. You don't bother to build it. I built this one a little bit only because I wanted to do a couple of different things. So here again, we go right into the leaderboard. And so now we've got state versus state. So we've got Beavis and Axel at FTD. Beavis is at 564, Axel's at 377, and then the numbers just start dropping. Okay? Now don't get me wrong, they're not small, and FTD is a pretty big alliance, but it is what it is. You can go through this, you can see, but again, you can start to take a few notes. Keep an eye on these guys. Find them at Capital and watch them. Or maybe you just have tappers, people that are tapping, they're not fighting. You can tell one of them, while you're tapping at Capital, watch this guy. I want to know when he's rallying. And then I want to know who's sending him troops. Because rather than hitting him, I'll knock the living piss out of those guys that send them troops. That's even funner. Okay? So you can start to get an idea as to where you're at. You can look at solo kills here. Okay? These guys' kills are relatively low for them to be in state versus, against us. Headquarters. All right, this is nice. Let's see. Their state has 34 P5s. Okay. I know how many we have. All right. Oh, let's go back over to solo power. And let's stop right about here. Islander. Actually chatted with him a little bit. Very nice, yeah. Very nice guy. Had a little trouble with another person, but you know what? That's trash talk, and you can look at the other video for that. So at the most, at the absolute most, they're going to have 7 members in that state with T11s. And quite frankly, I doubt they're going to have more than 5 members that are full T11. And out of those 5, 4 of them are in FTD, the biggest alliance there. You see how you need to start drawing down conclusions to understand? Because you're going to get double rallied. You're going to have ghost rallies. Your strategy will be different between invasion and defense. These things are all important. All right? Chiefs. Well, FTD has 3 60-level chiefs, and then it drops down to 57. So, they've got 3 guys that are going to be maxed. You can count that if a guy is a level 60, all right, and he has over 300 million in BP, he's going to be full Dominator, full badges, and full research. I'm sure there's some exceptions to the rule, but when I'm going in, I want my worst case scenario. All right. And then heroes. 7622978. Full. And then after that, these are not full generals. Okay. These are not 80 level generals for Brook. Once you get into Ash, no. So you need to sit there, take a look at your heroes, and you can compare the numbers. And you can go online also. There's plenty of resources, and you can see what a full, say, level 73 Lieutenant Colonel Ash is worth. And that's going to help you understand how hard these guys can hit you and what's coming. I mean, if I'm sitting, it doesn't happen often, but it has. If I'm sitting in mid and I see the first wave coming and I know who it is, I know who he's probably leading with. But of course, someone my size, they're going to back to back. All right. So I look at the second wave and I look at who's in it, and I can assume that they've got their best heroes in there as well, unless they're duplicates of the first. You've got 5 minutes to figure that out. So, because, in state versus state, that's a 5-minute timer and generally a 2-minute march. Now, you need to time those for ghost rallies and everything else. We can do a whole nother video on that. But this is the things that you have to do. And you have to do your homework. I mean, you really and truly do. If you expect to compete in your domain, then why not compete well? Why not compete to the best of your ability? It'll take you 90 minutes to build this alt free in another state. 90 minutes, that's it. It'll take you the better part of a day. You can do it 2 days to get you to that level 8. Okay? You'll earn enough speed ups actually just doing the storyline and the intel to get you faster, quicker if you really want to pay attention to it. But the point is you got to get to that leaderboard. You can do the whole thing in one day. We have members that have done it all in like 4 hours. I just can never concentrate that long over such a tedious issue. So you've got to do your homework. You do your homework in Capital Clash, because in Capital Clash, it's your state. And you know everybody, and you know all about them, and you've been beating each other up and playing and everything else. You've already done this entire exercise subconsciously in Capital Clash. Take it a step further in Reservoir League, in RR, and in SVS. Do it in each one of those and you will excel unless you have terrible strategy. Now, there's 100 people making videos out there about the best strategy for this and the best way to do that. And look, I'm an average player. I'm no gaming guru. I play for the fun of it, and I have a good time, and I share a little bit about it. Consider me more like a reality show for my state in all likelihood, okay? I don't know all the secrets, and I don't run everything through highly complex Excel sheets with mathematical modeling. What I do is play. And when I play, I attack, or I defend, or both. And I do the best I can, and I try and help you guys understand what some of that is like. Look, I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate everything that goes along with that. Please subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. I would really appreciate it. You guys have a great day. We'll have the videos from State versus State tomorrow. We still haven't decided how deep into that we're going to go. And we'll have the video from Reservoir League in about probably 3 days by the time I put everything together. We're going to go hard at Reservoir League. It's just SVS, we don't know. Personally, I could care less about SVS. But you know what? Other people in our state aren't in Reservoir League the next day. Although actually another alliance in our state is, but there's lots of other alliances in our state that are smaller. And so SVS means something to them. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet, but you have a great day. Subscribe, like, and let me know what you think. Be good.